Yung mga yun na yung
ne mani mami na tisho la sama mimi na tia kali ka po chikan doa
really
min doa chachi
the na min du yun nga disco chip
tia na ja sa go yi
really tutu tanda tutu me
re tanda
nga ta disco kore wow
ani sono pa lo ya rindo
괜찮아 tanda kung distatong dila shugyo
그럼 단다다 이었어
교포 정이야
반도
그게 아마
노지지 인사로 상기기 송제인데 이슈 주제 같이 주제 되는 지사로 남기 상으로 상기 상기제야 등은 노출 상기 인사로 인사로 아유 남시는 될까 영원 잡힌 아니 잡힌 그 노출 같이 노태기 노출지겠어 잡히려야 연세요로 다 노출요
네, 뭐 이 공속이나 주디 쉽잖아. 네. 그렇죠.
아
나 그래. 공속이 넘쳐 멈추어 견하네. 나 그래서. 특징, 공속 특징, 멈추 특징, 소리.
야나미 나 센터미 따와이 야나미 센터
자자로 되시게요. zen, 인지랑 zen 세기.
센터다
zen, 인지랑 zen 세기에 있음 삼버티 수치 보여요. ena con zen mancheo di top kaki re semua keres topa di semua di topa kakna di rangsingi di topa yang di
entendre la part bon garant
Arila di pemamo di susun progress komso arila di chi dong kukya ngapchu jobo the gigging kashi Nihon ne arila person prepare engineer this future progress
ali tesari le te jijimu yo yung
I mean jirtang warna di nangchut शिक्षण पोयो ini nangchuki nangla di zen di Nihon gi zen gejo chen poyo Mami mambo di tikte kogi Muni nyamlan cheken peche
Mesiria Kasi yun
Kung nga di shilchen jenche poyo
Shikushika Kagi di sarita Kuchigemi
Tenzang be tenzang be gen bidu Ini kumpul sargi ini chartu tatna. Ini sama partiu ke.
Zanga lagu mana? Mani tak cepat selesai cari letter itu.
Ini. Jadi satu. Saya cek dulu. Hello. Are you? Hi. Good, welcome. Sunchen nangure.
Esdili. Eberwa.
How are you, Demo? How
Yes, I'm learning some words in Tibetan.
Okay.
I have to.
공 불개독 좀 장기 레슨 좀. 되게 미지경이래.
Sapo.
Would you like hot
What
water?
is that? Pachi, Tino, Sapo, Sapo,
Sabo. Dina Sabo you make a
Sapo,
Sapo, hot water. Hot water.
Depends on the boiled water.
Yeah.
With tea, of course, there's a few little snacks, but
Just some fresh water.
Saton is a door. Someone is a door.
it's a little hot. Tao.
Tao is
Now, yeah.
Garmi.
Weather.
Garmi.
Oh, Garmi.
Garmi.
Garmi.
Both Garmi.
Oh, what Garmi?
Yeah, both.
Where are you from?
From Italy. Actually, this is not the first time I come. I came last year. We were up in the old place.
So this happened.
Yeah.
I think I saw
Yeah,
you.
familiar, yeah. Great, well, thanks for coming back.
Sorry.
Thank you for coming back.
Oh, thank you guys. I've been following on Instagram and on WhatsApp and on YouTube and precious, very precious.
Great, that's det kommer bli YouTube WhatsApp There's cold and hot.
Choose Sapo. Choose water.
Choose water. Sabo's hot.
Sapo is
Sabo is hot.
hot.
So like he also said the weather's hot, so it's the same word. Namshi Sabo, the weather's hot. Chu Sabo, the hot water.
Okay.
Yeah. They also say chukulma, which is like boiled water.
How do you say it?
Chukulma.
Chukulma.
Boiled.
Okay. Supa to boil.
Kulma.
Yeah. Actually, to boil, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
To boil water is gulma.
How are you?
I'm fine.
The
Can you?
result of
I'm
that
fine.
is
Thank you.
gulma.
Deborah.
Okay.
All of the verbs in
Depois.
it's actually fascinating.
Queremos
They're
depois.
split
Nga,
into
depois.
this agentive and non-agentive are like effect and result.
Chu Sapo.
The act of doing it, like you go to boil the water, gulma, but the water was boiled. It's kind of like the past water. Gulma.
This one is
You?
You've been
I-
studying Tibetan
you
for
have-
a
No?
while.
Do you want?
Yeah.
maybe.
I saw on
No.
the WhatsApp group
No.
that you made a website.
I made a few. What?
No? Coffee?
Is it your job?
No.
No, I mean I've done software development. Web design isn't exactly wasn't exactly my job. But
Tring poken zenda yove.
what do you do?
So I
You're
think you
good.
are.
Yes.
Yo.
Yo.
Yo. Poken zenda
Yo.
Antonio.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you? Good. Yeah. Very nice. Hi. I'm Tia.
I think we met down at the library, isn't it?
Probably.
Antonio.
Antonio. From where?
From Italy.
Italy. Italia, ma che? Half of
Italy.
my family is from Italy, but I don't speak Italian.
Where are you from?
Brazil.
Oh. Lia.
Bia.
Bia.
Bia. Yes, from Beatrice.
Okay.
Yes.
From Brazil.
From Brazil, yes.
Okay, so your family was from
Half.
the northern part of Italy.
Yes.
North eastern.
Probably.
Det är om du.
Yes. We are not very sure, but yes.
Which is your son?
Buri.
Bori.
Buri.
I think it's eastern.
Yeah.
It's very close to
같이 고대 고사로.
So Korean
얘도 yapıcı değil.
Peki ya bu da.
very
Kecil nggak tuh tiang sincak nggak di ya kayaknya.
Because in Brazil, I don't know.
Kazan şayet
Sometimes
dinle
they
yapıcı.
take the
Saya
surname.
tahu konkretnya.
Bodin. This one I haven't heard. Yeah. From where? In Italy.
Yeah.
You are.
It's a small village, not 1 hour from there. Between
Okay.
Venice and Dublin.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Yeah.
You are from which part of Brazil?
Somehow.
Come on.
The business busy
Really?
and boring city.
That's why you escaped.
Probably yes. One of the reasons.
Geçen ben kaç yine kaç ne var mı var?
I saw you at the library.
Hiç yani.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm taking her classes and also Tashitsumo classes from 9 to 10. Yes. So
Oh,
9 to 10
Jennifer.
and then 10 to 11 with Aminorza and Jennifer as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, kena taşı dile di gebo kunjunte kiran kabar şarsan.
I'm sorry, I'm sweating a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
But me, you know, particularly, usually every time.
And it's very hot today.
Yes, it is.
İyi peki çok yakın kapıda.
Yeah. Did you rest a little bit?
Yeah, today.
Ceye.
Ceye.
After the class.
Yeah.
I was just like before.
Pay.
Stay at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very yapıcı. Very yapıcı. Very good. Okay.
很好。
很好。嗯。
这是我在网络上找到的好图。
网络上找到什么了？
没有，手机有时候会这样。
这是我网络上，我们找一个，那个名字叫什么？这样的一个小东西。
麦克
这里嘞
风，麦克风，
麦克风，小小的麦克风找不到。
麦克风。
上次我们用那个。
昨天用的吗？昨天他用的那个。
这个很好。我们现场是不需要的嘛，但是这个录屏的时候很好，声音有的话找不到了，它藏在哪里不知道。
那这个呢？这个是
这个不，
这个不是。小麦克风。
这咋不弄的？谁？去咋不？这中国人家就。
Does he speak? Chinese?
가서 대표 당 빼야 보네. 다들이 형 같이 비싸.
But you can talk.
No, not him. Another teacher. I just finished my Chinese lesson. Yeah, he's good. I got.
아, 되니까 잠깐만.
No, I've been teaching speakers Chinese for over a year, and 2 of them are pretty good. Online.
Online.
Yes.
아니, 취소 청사네. 취소
I
청사.
just finished.
이거
But it's much better now.
예.
I'm a teacher.
How are you? Oh my. I'll be tired. Yeah.
You got plans for tomorrow?
Yes. I'm going to the temple early in the morning, and then I'll go to the library because there will be a celebration there, and some of my friends are going to sing a song.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go there
Nice.
to watch it.
Is it open?
Yes.
What time does it start?
It's going to start at 9:30.
Oh, in the morning.
Yes, but the performance will be around noon. And they're
아,
going
대포
to
대장. 저 강원이래. Where are you from?
and then the evening
No,
goes to the
Argentina.
event.
Argentina, huh?
Yeah.
꼴리 아버지로.
And so and you,
아, Argentina 감.
what are your plans?
라선.
Driving us hard.
다시 나선 것도 이제 같이 줘야 탕.
But
잠스 고식 다간 줄 알았어.
I think after tomorrow they'll be just twice a day. But he's,
Yes.
if you don't stop at less than.
Hello, we will be starting soon.
Okay.
You know, and I usually don't admit to things like that. This is, like I said, first time.
Hear us.
So I'm trying my hardest to be a different kind of person.
I think that's good. So yeah, it means that you are going to spend the whole day tomorrow with reading.
Just as usual.
Okay. It's just like
Shidele.
Just delay.
Next year, I'll ask you.
Next goal. After you learn Tibetan and then.
Yes, Tibetan and Nepali and Hindi
Let's see.
Yes.
This is entry. Edit. This is the
Yeah, 장아 송곳이 꼼으로.
Okay, guys, we'll get started here pretty quick.
장아 송곳이 잘어. just delay number 참아.
Hello, everybody. We're getting started.
라서 드닝아초 트리 가서케닝 그 셈셈 정고 코르리 그바트 소 차송레 차송디 타지마 kindaje pano liuchini pata trashi ti paru ti so tomba ti sendu ti nanangacho yonde jiketa chinjoa te cheyin.
So we finished what we were doing before the last chapter in the Tibetan and Indian Buddhist classic series, and we finished up to the point in chapter we planned to do, and so now we're going to start a text called the Foundation of All Good Qualities.
Ta yonde jikir ziyate kitani lamram chade ore jirumbo che lamram chembo jimbo chombo sini lamram chewa tele shole ngap jala chin jiwa tele shole sam jala chi ta lamram tito tele shole ngatri chi yore ta tili dishorte nanda yonde jikir tele shole chik ta che kanin de chi mato yo mare o tenti chikanani jocha te pa sama te ko chik pan ro pa sa chik pan ina gidi shu che jang jo tenti chi re yonde jikir ziyate.
So this text we can think of as it in terms of Lama Tsongkhapa's Lamrim. There's a Lamrim Chimmo, there's a Lamrim, there's sort of the middle length Lamrim, and then there's this which we can think of as the shortest version of Lamrim. And so this contains all of the meaning of the other three, but it's of course in a much more condensed format.
Sonsata yonde jikir ziyata musiga ma sontanjra te lamro sontanjra de kyabar kechu kar yore zena ya lamal chelab jivitsa ki son yore benangal tombo shani tense te yapo yon chelab naro chis ni batalangal ncha marko tanjo tonche jpala pento yapo yon rochi sambangal cha matapa gombi gom yapo yon chelab naro chis ni tendin ro chi ktsar kama son jan yo chire.
So we could say that the particular quality of this text, or even we could say maybe prayer, is that you're really asking for the blessings from the Lama to have these progressive realizations on the path. For example, the first one is, bless me to rely on the teacher. The second one is really bless me to understand the preciousness of rebirth. Bless me to really remember the impermanence of this life. And so you're asking repeatedly for blessings to have these realizations that you're supposed to have along the path.
Sonsa nga sondi chelab jibi tsarki go ndama nyamlen cheki tonsa nga so ngoma chelab jisatal ngel tsojan chiki tanchi ngo choche go ndu.
And so since we're asking for these blessings here, it's one of the things we should do is really create what we call the merit field, or I think merit field is a good term for that.
So tanita the chena kita yonde jikendra chena ta nachu namba chik nachu chetangoni tere nima ngoni zonten ta parta chik tagas ti parushi lenja mai pa nachu chetongo ramba chatang chi orene tiri tari jat pe makashi na androna mandrona nachu cheto juja chini jan jini jogin ta chi gashi sam te tan tinji chedina de choyo mari tinji chena choyo ma chik chena tesi parwa yena yangi ka oh teri tuche John Cheto sir.
Okay, Konda, let's see audio. Okay.
Tandate nachu che tangja chini ta namba chikini mata pakare chego patja chini majun ro changsa tangza yamdun chopa pi tangza yamdun so cheden chijin ro yin ta so jima nachu chena ta yapo te bayo saina dijin sha chini chen ro kero ta chik te ban ro me saina ya chi chena chomen yu ching ta
Okay. So, when we're thinking about doing this practice every day, we think about the merit field. If we don't have the great offerings, if we don't have a big altar and all that, it doesn't matter. The most important thing really is to have sort of devotion or faith. If we have that, we can really practice the Dharma properly.
Ani nga sonde chuche kabel ta joki nga moina kati na so so chita so ya pon chi gyap ani na ta so ya sama chi cha gyap ani ndi so chokan ro tin ri yosa yin na chokan ja chin chokan me na so ti sam gu chochi la kyang ro ndi chi kang go la ani yon cha ya po chi sham to na sam gu tong ma.
So when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you want to do is to clean your body properly. And then you want to clean your room. And then if you have an altar room or whatever, you clean that. And then you go ahead and arrange your offerings in the altar room.
So na rinjipa ke ta chembo chi ta mi tsa wa chembo chi yong go na so ta ji cheong ka yong chi che ndo ya po shu chi che ra te na ji ta da nga so chu che ka sa sang ge tang chang chu se pa so na le den ji ge yo re sang sa te ta ji ya po chi che go re sa mo te ji ja che sho
to the nang na
so na le sang ge tang chang chu se pa la so ge ta den ji ge tan re ta ji ya po chi che go re sa mo te ya po chi.
So we can think about this is that we are inviting the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas into our house, right? So that if we want to do that, we have to prepare. If they were actually coming into our house, right? You have to prepare. You have to clean your body. You have to clean the room and create the altars to invite them into your space.
Ani di chopa tal manche sa chub dunji jakare tinde she te kare yo reziti nanga ma jagar ke luxor le chena jagar ke jarbo to so yenare ni sanje shakya ta pa dinde je yenali chopa tal mandawa nakaje yo pinani tombo dundun de jakore.
So often what we typically see on the altar are the 7 water bowls, and this is a type of offering that was talked about by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and in the nam dinguma gi geyori di geginguna di dun.
Ta ingi geyor chopa te ge ina dun de mong masha te rolmo ze at osiyor.
Okay, so actually there's 8 offering substances or different types of offerings, and of that what we typically see actually are just 7 offerings. The final offering is a musical instrument offering that sometimes is not up there.
Nabje diktan chena tombo ni te chirja kare cheja te kar zeti ta sangyen ro denje ji oni tombo sangye so gamba gosa le oni chuchu ki oni sangye gel te zama zo chuchu pire ni jap zama zo cheni pe te ni chu jap ser zeni tombo ni te ni re.
So the first 2 we can think of is when the Buddha comes in, we're offering them fresh drinking water to rinse the mouth. And the second offering is actually water to bathe one's feet, which is a sign of respect.
And so the
third one is an offering of flowers. So sometimes in the water you'll actually see a flower placed and floating in the water. And so the 4th bowl is an offering of incense, and you often will also see dry rice put in there, and then people will stick sticks of incense in there to symbolize offering of incense.
Marmere ti tanga so na lo londa wo chi chasisi ya po chi gore ma na tu chi na ngo mari ti cheta na nga mai na marme ya po ba go sara londa di o mare ti chetre.
And so the next one, the 5th one, so that the 4th one was to provide the incense, of course, gives a nice smell to the room. The next one is an offering of butter lamps, which shines in the room and brings brightness to the room. Particularly, there used to not be electrical power and stuff like that, so the rooms would be dark. So really having an offering of light would be really meaningful.
Ani trikpat trajim zupol toria chmajim bo tesan tinal kurkum ze achiwa kurkum ze ni meto tan chiwa te yukundo o te chimashim te chulu ni tinal kurkum chure
So the sixth one is what we would call sort of perfumed water, and they often would put like specific type of flower or something to give it a nice smell.
어떠니 다 상제 샤케트 파트리 나리아 덴지니 상제 샤케트 파 덴루직 사티테 dum바트니 수치자용 그래 칼라 칼라 좀 보자고 제파트리 자르제 dum바트 자르제니 가서 쌈발 마르기아니 보파트 칼라 자야 체트리 초방원이 그래 당가서 때 사울로 당디 원이 상제 종아로 나를 펩데고 가서 든지 And so
the last one, the seventh bowl, is food. And of course, Tibetans, what they would be offering typically is tsampa, which is roasted barley flour. It's a very typical Tibetan food, and butter. But really what we're offering is food. And we can really think that, that we're inviting the Buddhas, the Buddha, the Bodhisattvas in, and that we're offering these things one by one to the Buddhas in our home.
아니 수직도 참마 상제 수직도 참마 추사티 나가모이나 아니 로몬켄도 조용히 로모치니 데몬라고 타치니 라스텔 타마테 튼초파 타마테 테레세는 근디 나리요 마리 로몬켄도 조자야리 아기엔이나 초피라모 제제니다 라모제게 키용야 튼지 케치
집에 라모게 라모딩라. So we the last one, which we briefly mentioned before, is an offering of music or pleasant sounds or musical instruments. And of course, that's often not represented on the altars, but you can imagine that, of course, in the space. And we talk about this as the 8 offering gods, essentially.
아니 대선 마치사 칠루데그레 칠루아데 가르레즈나 단디 무슨 Pewo Marita Tangaso, Chicken Chopa Piata, Shuji, Semname Pigoni, Yapochi Yonson, the Chicken Chopa, the Shuya, Chichitina Luga, the second the same national Marimuni, Yapija, Yonchala Yaponro, and some the same national series.
So, why do we offer water? We often see just water here, right? So, what is the benefit of offering the water? Well, the benefit of offering water is that we're able to offer water without a feeling of miserliness or greediness, right? That we can water is something easy to give. If we actually offer very nice things, then it's possible we could generate this kind of sense of miserliness or greediness from this. So water is a very convenient thing to offer because we can give it easily.
Any digital chopata sosogonal tanda natsun rombochi nash nil the tragic gorati nil the jatsai chilata. Sanjay da Jancho Palace office so Sunday chat and the Chilabje go at Sama, Peva, the gone, Podation, and Richik Sacha on the Soso Samloton, Chumbagan, Yabjon to such a push you are catching boy of Pochijani, we Sanji children become those with in a kibuter. Sanji Sakata Pajigo, Dankoni, Jersey Jancho Palace of Pani, so say Lami, but much dinner, Gio Pachik Samlota, penny, Pevion watch.
And so you can think about sort of seeing the kind of the
so Dorjee, and the Nippon Korea Pachin and the Kimura, so Nalaka Depo and Chaloina, Panal Salotana Giro.
Yeah, the kind of the altar do not the simultaneous, the kind of the gum kept to the
Tangan, the Nippon Korean and the Digital Salot, Chopat and Deshamara, and then the Digital Salotana Giro.
And so you can think about it in your house, in the altar, that you have all of the lamas and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and all of them have arrived in our sort of in like a pure line, as you can see, like with the potala there, are abiding and enjoying your offerings.
And the Tangatina song you children, the village Takani Gandhi Choni Lasso, Pandicha than that, Pandicha that I Jindo, and the Chini Soso, Umuta Jepi Lama. Yagargan Kewaina Pop Kewajiro Chelas.
Many diggers with the Chusham Gigang or thing out to the Gomgap so Shingi King set up your
that's on the chase. And Sojan,
so, for example, in this tanka here, you can see the Buddha with all of the great teachers and lineage lamas and all of those arrayed around it. So that's sort of what you're imagining, if you're able to, in your mind, is this what we think of as the Buddha field. And so what I was clarifying there is you can think about it both in terms of your altar and in terms of when you're meditating, when you're actually visualizing the merit field, if you're able to imagine that whole.
Takinajin Chopa Parum, Chini Tama, the Chetsawa, some Rolmota Chipatsati, so Genia challam jyatri
So the jin rasam.
challam jyata jini yonde jikir mangoni sablo tani trash
So after we've gone through and we've imagined that we've made all of these offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and we've really imagined the merit field, and we've gone through one by one, and we've imagined the offering of music, and then we're ready to really receive the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
Tani ta chalab jyata tanda yonde jikir jaja chini nga so chalab jyatri ta sholoka tombote yonde kinye jikir chinchi sajatambalam bizar lebandon baba temai ki pachembo tambar chingi lab zyata lam yi tsawa shani tenzer zyata shede yore.
So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the actual text. In the first shloka, the first set of 4 verses, which I put this in the group, is the foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. And of course, the main focus of this really is that the Lama is the root of all of our good qualities.
Mi Jean di Ming Koran yonde jikir mala ore de sho sik tombo ti ya len jan yorendo yonde kunji jikir zyata yonde zyande kam di shepi yonde de ka ko gorizina ana chu nang nga so chachembo shena cholam ni yugo marlo pilam par de kanta na lu chu semke ta tomba ni to pishira la so pata tinji na chu nyablen de so le ki gona lama le tengore lama ti tsawan rawat te chate ore zini ote shete ore.
So this first set of verses is also where the title came from, the foundation of all good qualities. And what we can think about is that, where do in terms of Buddhist practice, where do these good qualities that we're trying to generate come from? We practice the path of accumulation, preparation, all the way up to the 5 paths of the path of no more learning. We generate these realizations of bodhicitta and emptiness and all of these things that we practice along the path. And all of these sort of realizations that generate the good qualities in us, we rely on the Lama or the teacher to generate these qualities, these realizations.
Gugel Martin and also share your maro, Gugel Yapo, Chitena, so yonde Yapo Chinjagreta, Ike Jan in Nareta, Seri Jan in Naret and Jicari, Jangona, so Gugel Tengo Anaj, Nachu Jan Lion, the Gugel Yapo Chitengo, Gugel Martin, so Nachu Pitachi Checos and Yapo Regmare, so the Nachu Nani, and the Gugens good Samtel Lamas in Italian Yerde.
So if we think about really any kind of learning, any kind of study we do, really without a teacher, we're unable to learn, right? Even if we think about letters or language, science, and in Buddhism, of course, we rely on a teacher to be able to learn. And so, when without a teacher, of course, we're not going to generate these good qualities. So therefore, this idea of this teacher or this Lama is incredibly important.
Loma Gil Tepa Yoko Atan, Giging Loma Lesteva Yoko, Indication of which share your marta. Namba Jongunoni, Lama Talumi Park and Jawat, Inch Loma, Lama Tepa Yoko Atan, Lama Loma Lesteva Yoko with Indy, Tepa Chimandawachi and Diore. As a Chetanka Ginda Loma in Loma Yoko, Tepa Yonari, Menari Chibaro, Tanachu, La Lukunja,
So, however, when we think about the difference between sort of the student-teacher relationship in normal life, in the student-teacher relationship with a Lama-disciple relationship in Buddhism, there is a difference in that in the normal student-teacher relationship, it's not so important to have faith and devotion toward your teacher. However, in Buddhism, it's actually vital to have this sense of devotion and faith toward the Lama or the teacher in Buddhism.
Any not you in the Shapi Lama, check your Sangori, Sama and Jukarivisit, Sama and Jukumari, catch you to Japani, catch you Chandra, what you Mombos into that, come down and call this socially, catch you some shaggy, Tomatel, Lama tell, Tanda, not you work, Lujo Yapochi Yokori, Yapo Shashin Kitty. Man Tasa Tango check in the equal Kana Consum Yam Yonke, Yapochi Yogore Mata, Cheka machine, Shekachi, at the Trolatan, Sosolia, Yaposhi, and Pin Tunito Mari. You and then the Yapochi Yogore, Toma check it. Not you work at the
So we can when we talk about what qualities does a good teacher need to have, right? And so there's lots of different ways, there's different lists, there's a lot of qualities that a good teacher have, but we can condense this down into 3 qualities that a good teacher should have. And the first quality is a good teacher should have is a very good understanding, having studied and really understands the Buddhism well, the scriptures well, has studied lots of different scriptures and really has a good grasp of the Buddhist, different topics, Buddhist studies.
아니 니빠들 고 거로마 로마타 솔 페치토 간도 세비아타 펜토코스 칼롱 요사텐디치 고레 타가즈 치니 카니 치니다 소소티 소친정시 소소시아테니 마임바 코솔 펜치토 간도 세바지고나 펜신테 야포 요사치 고레.
And so the second one is that the Lama or the teacher should have a desire a desire motivated by love to help the student. So it's really important that this teacher has this desire from love that wants to help the students and is really diligent.
아니 선바텔 교람 야포치 고고 그래서 우리 잡아이나 잡아야포다 라마이나 나비 라마이나 잡아이고 아우이나 고 교람도 소 야포치 배 건조 먼저 지대니 마임바 교람도 야포든지 고고 그래서.
And the third one is good conduct. The Lama should have very good conduct, shouldn't just be sort of doing things here and there that are not good. And so that they are a good person, that they do good deeds and that they don't do bad things.
손자 로마치 그 샹니 템발라 소소고 테 라마타 템발라 tombo 타케치 고레 카팅니타 니 라마치 리제 고말 코살리 추년 칸로 초레 카르체난 드그레 로지 탄트 솔 샹니 tombo 테난 드그먼드 타케 타니 제쇼르 로그츠레 타케 타니 텐지고 지라 제니 코로고테 바자니 샹니 템바 텐지 셰고레타 소소고 타키타 다와치르 체고나 로치르 체고 로니르 체고 로글 체고 한 댕니 샹니 텐자나 코 교피차니 나리 세비차니 나리 원댕게 차니 안갈은 즈그 산산즈그 테니 테바야고 지자니 테니 샹니 땡고 그래.
And so it's really important when you are it's really important that you check out your teacher, that you make sure that your teacher has these qualities before you take them as a teacher. And it's recommended that actually that you check out a teacher or a lama for 10 years before you think of them as your lama. But even in terms of a teacher, check them out for a month, a year, 2 years, 3 years, but you need to check them out really good. Does this person, have they studied Buddhism well? Do they know the scriptures? Do they have good conduct? Are they motivated by by love, by this desire to help their students? It's really important, and it's to really check that out very well before you take someone as your lama.
Also, teni soso go te pa jan shani ten cerni zonte, ani soso lama le tanan da ten katse gyondo na soso lu chela da mucho chewa da ani gyojon ra ten chena ni pa chimbo sa ten shege yore. Angar ko lama te yakpo chi yin samni teni zonte pe sanje na jin ji soso katse yakpo chi ta to na soso lo mucho chewa ji wa. Ani gyojon ra ten chena ni pa chimbo sa ya ten shege.
The lama ki gyondi. It's also important that you don't sort of really focus on if the lama has faults. It's really important that once you have a lama that you don't focus on the faults. As much as we are able to see the lama as our Buddha, that much we will receive the blessings from the lama. So after you've checked the lama out, really don't sort of pick apart the lama or complain about the lama. You really want to make sure that you see as much as possible you're seeing the lama as the Buddha.
Pena soso lama le kyon ra wotni chikchena ngoni kyon yo jere chikchena soso thonsar kain de chik thwa yin tangaro thonsar man ga chinji injere ma to mi lama le takyo yo mare sane soso tana jang te na television me ya tsagre sonsa lama tenki manche sa lama le kyon me pa ja chi soso kyon ka chen thona tana go wan de cheni ta soso le mata pe wan thona shane tingo ninjoya ta namba to mo mai mi so chi.
And it may be that your lama has real faults. It may also be that you're essentially sort of projecting these faults onto your lama from your own side. At this point, it really doesn't matter. Like the blessings that you get from your lama are dependent on really seeing the lama without faults. And can you tell me what something?
That's also the chichena soso le mata ko ongi kyon to ngi mata lama le ta kyon yo sama le san kyon me pa ja chenin joya tan ta namba shani ten se tam lo yo na me
de nang be de nang chigi di tapang di tamong
lama ten se tan yon cha te che yo mata ngoni lama le kyon yo re san ni sa lo mata na te ya
And so this is so lamas will have faults, right? But this is a method. This is a way of thinking that it is helpful in the path to help you to get the blessings from the teacher.
Allah so tandri chigre tani jen yo lame ga karshia thamche nyengo rezina te nyengo ayo mares dawanal she chu maimba tena tor shozewer kas ta chu maimba zina karzde lame ma she dia koro chuni chancho me ate so ngi cheto samari te chuni yon samari sam tengi choto mandu zeni jejana de la te ma cheni lama te tini pondo ma chona yo te so so ni ba chongo mare so so deba tamalo ni cheat so so che ma to ya ta tini she on ngi cheto mandu ze labjana then the Korean in the Watan Tambari, so good Matoyachi Lamage, she on
Didn't to get the Gungi Gilapanaching, the chicken, in a table shogi man.
Tachi Lamachu, so and then she cheshos in the so the Chematoya, so now Mandro at the Petit social patch no mato payment of some Jira, and she didn't need to cheto Mandu Labjana, but Yango is in a thing, Yango Mares.
And so if your Lama or teacher tells you to do something that you're not able to do or that you feel is not in accordance with Buddhism, then you don't do it. You just say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that. And you put that aside. That's important.
What did
So my question is, what kind of process, if you see your Lama as the Buddha, what does that do with the student's mind that's so beneficial? And the question that Lama ga Sanjay Tantau, Loma Semla, Jerdok Gangayo, then in Jumsen, Pentok Hachan, she was in Jumsen.
Lazo Tati, Amukum, Tati, Kalikapori. Nachu Shani Tensor the Ata, so Tapas which in Jogora. This also was Sanji Najin Tawayana, Harpengi or Resina, who Mashiat, so Tawa Chimbochi Chakar. So such and which the Lolly Yapochi Tagger. Lolly Yapochi dinner, Benasan, Soso Lama, the Jochancho, the same Yapochi Gom Sholam. She needed the Tawachimbochi in a kick 10 day Yapochi Gonger. Sanji Najin Tawachimbochi, the man is Ropan Chikishia, Najik Mato Tawachimbo, and Kid Lolly Chetagmari, and you cover Shichimon. The Neon also Nachu Wonichina Tanji. Sanji and the Shijana Sanji which Lamjiki yours in it. Yes, yes, what you would that quarter kitchen, which you Yavjung set of Kapori.
So, the reason this really is important is that if we see the Lama as a Buddha and we really have this strong faith, then what the Lama is saying, we will take really to heart. We'll listen to us, for example, like generating bodhicitta, and then our meditation becomes very stable and very deep because we are hearing these things, we're seeing the Lama as a Buddha, and so we really pay attention. We really take to heart what he's saying or she's saying, and we can contrast that, say, with our friend just tells us some advice or tells us something. We don't take it really so deeply. So this is the reason really that the benefit of seeing the Lama as the Buddha, that we really will listen very deeply to what they say.
Benji, so several starch and Montigina Penayarm, which it has not so same starch and Yarm, which you can look to know on the summer with this thing to Yamni, the Yapush which is. That Yarm, which is so much, but you can understand shit that you need to chill Marquesha to Tanzania, Shirayo, Nation. That's a change, Marta Chichi, and Andrew Shikaji, Teleshirani, Mitso, same Ganal Tanchamel. Yarum which it so switch out in boys on that ticket at Yapush
Yeah. So for His Holiness, for example, comparing His Holiness and myself, or Geshe Lharampa really here, is that for example, when His Holiness tells people something, they take it really to heart. They pay really strong attention. They really believe it deeply. But when I tell you something, or when I tell people something, maybe they listen, maybe they don't. They don't take it quite so deeply. So really, there's this huge difference because of the great faith that people have in the Dalai Lama and His Holiness.
So Lama, the so same ganal, Sawakati, Chena, the lapchat, the so same ganal, Yaponia, and watching.
And so really, as much as you're able to have faith in your Lama, by that much you will really take the advice to heart. Sure.
Can I follow up?
Yeah, it's fine.
So even if we recognize that the Lama has some faults, the point is to generate faith, and that faith is then the cause of what changes our behavior. That's the process of saying, I'll believe whatever I need to believe in order to change my behavior. Can we put it like that?
Okay. The lama the namgyun the gyunyure. Yoyore. The lama mangcheo the lama la the gyunyure. Yine the tema segna so the lama la the top job yores. Now the gyun the nganso the yundin rayaki chedu. Nga lama the gyun me the sangi samatankire.
Ale ma longjin rawo ye. Ta la shanye tensel le jung ke chaz ta shrayo maru. Ke ta ngutan ke pigulam. Ta chun chi jena chutel jung karyo pena teringa so yonde jikin china. Yonde jikete kyo kani to va yenzin bigin de chiti kulama lama ti kani ka tom du zeni chu kin te ama.
Ye the lama ngune sangi mare. Lama mangcheo ngune sangi
Sanje ka te ka boro. Sanje at lila wachire loma yuna sanje chate
te ka. The top, right?
So sina so gatse tsawa chimbo ta tana yang pochena so tele chelam jikyo reze ore te tomo mai bishe pa chiri. Musa ha koyat ngaru so get ka de tsawa chimbo ina get shia ta ngaso semli yang ponya ta kite te re su.
Did I get your answer? Yeah, no, I'll translate it. Essentially, yes, we're going back and forth asking. The main distinction here is that the Lama, of course, it's difficult to say whether the Lama is or is not a Buddha, right? But it's probably safe to assume most Lamas are not Buddhists. But we have to, his question is then why do we then believe that they are a Buddha? And so it's as much as we generate this faith that the Lama is a Buddha, we receive these good qualities, right? We take the teachings to heart and we receive the blessings.
Yena yang aso Lama te so na sanje yo chokres na tenden de yo chaware ze wor. Karre siti sanje zia te churbanja manja go ni semchen la tonche gores. Ni meki machi lutni dachi tnichini mayoni nga sol pento atnichi was. That's also Lama te sanje tar shana chichena ni jacha jayin jeres pata na choba maram ra wochi kachi chena tande kensan chiria so sam chiona pena ro chamar palo sago gege Marco Gizamela ripa gelo trauma balo sa ta tromba nol get as a car yore te as a posto chinja chimato lo trauma Gizamela gelo trauma balo sa te koro tromba nol ta as pos in jawa chimato mi so nol tu kyopa yara yimba ta lama keta chembo yimba tani kene yomar don ma po kancha ngi chi tanda ngakanya limba kera chembo chi ora chi da ma so that Chichena, so gay Sanji injury.
So it's important to think that potentially your Lama is a Buddha, right? So the Marpa, if we think about the Milarepa and
Lama
Marpa?
Marpa
Lotsa. So Milarepa and Marpa Lotsa, who was a very famous teacher and Lama. So he had a Lama that was incredibly well. Was incredibly practiced and maybe was a Buddha. We don't know, but it's really important that you don't know if your Lama is a Buddha or not, and it's important that you keep that in mind that it could be a Buddha.
Koro chomba na kecha yo mare te lama chimbo chi imba hakoni yo mare koro mitsanchi ko papa re ni ni ta ba jinka ta ni de ore mi se ko lama chimbo imba chuni sigi yo mare ko sai
ma ke ko Andrew can ko sai okay tinga to di marpa di lotsa ki pe
marpa lotsa zeat mi jamba chikin ta yon di karre zi to pola chi
de
ma to kol koro nyen ta pa jinka ta ni de
marpa ki lotsa de kongi gate tempo de kongi tong na de gate so the Milarepa's teacher Marpa Lotsa was not actually at that time very well known. He was a woodcutter and he went and cut wood, and so if you just looked at him, you would not have actually known that he was this amazingly realized being just from the external appearances.
Otene chire ta lami ngoni chechu changwa ta lama loma koroya lama te matin de korol yasha jawan chayo bata ta par te anjirin bota ke tangwa tije tani loma le chake kar changore zena loma no kyon sumdan chawa chi gore sonyor
And so now we've talked about the teacher and what are the qualities of a teacher, these three qualities of the teacher that we talked about that you should look for. So what are the qualities of the student, of the disciple, right? And so we can say that there are three qualities of the disciple that we can talk about.
Then the more than the mango, money, Jana, the knowledge, Chuchi and Romari, the Najan, also not you shake a yapo, Ningo, and money, the Chiaco Mares.
And so we use the example of a cup and the three faults of a cup. And the first fault is, for example, if the cup is turned upside down, however much you try to pour water into the cup, of course, the water will not go into the cup. And so this is, for example, this example of a student is not listening. If you don't listen, of course, nothing goes into your brain. So that's the first fault.
No, the one equal go chilujana, Luton Rorican, one in Marshani Lacamar, in Arjanato, Tombo Yapochi, and the same Jam Yapochi Jaguaremato, and in any Patanjana, Chipari, the Pendomares.
So the second fault here in this example is the fault of the cup having holes in the bottom. And if you have holes in the bottom, however much water you pour in, it just runs out the bottom. And the extension here of the example is that even so, if you go to the teaching and you sit there and you listen, but you don't remember, it doesn't do any good.
Ani somebody carries the Colonel Yapochi, Colonel Samaching, also Chuching in Sonsan, the Raja Kangal, Pinto Kichichet, and the Yangius, and the Colonel Yapochi, Semba Samachi, Koremangani, Chadamos, and the Chinjatsu Chet, and Jiguchet. Chujanate, Chicago to Mari Pen and Dinal Dugro, Chilusana, Tongamania, what did the Chipari?
And so the third one, we're really talking about the motivation here of the student. And if you have a student who does not have a good motivation, who's motivated by the three poisons, desire, craving, attachment, anger, hatred, ignorance, any of these poisons, right? Then the Dharma will be of no benefit. And this is an example for if you have poison in the cup, right? You pour the water in there, but it's actually not good at all. So it's really important, this motivation.
Sonzata, you Lama Ziat, Taloma Ziat, Tanika Park and Java, the Nanchunisha Pitanji, that Tanjigo Lama te, so Yonde Tama, Chonsa, Savanda with the race, Goni, Zontitang, also Tasaina, Dirania, Jan in Jordan, also Lamrim Roach in Gonitina. Bongo Shani Tensor, Zeatani, Leo Shani Tens, Lama Tensor, then he lay on it, go to set, and he gave us any young goes on that. Not you yon then Tama, the gaze any young goes, gaze at the Yonding Savat Chat, your ass, you gaze at your pension cheese, yet. So Savat Chimbo, the Catan Chimbo, Chaka, your gaze at you.
And so here in the beginning, this is this first verse, and again, we're just talking about how important the Lama is, the teacher is the foundation, is the place where all of our good qualities come from, and so we really have to respect and venerate the teacher and the Lama and see them as the root, as the source of all of our good qualities. And this is, of course, following the same order as in the Lamrim, other Lamrim teaching.
Such Timbalam Gitsavarezita, Lama, the Yapo, Chitentona, so Lam Yardin Droag, Tabla Yona men that there is Lam Zena Hakora, so the same Yardin Droag, Tabla Yona men at the Del Tick Day or something. That is Shiva, so Yapo, Chiteni. That the Yapocha Lepanton is the Yapocha Hakoachini, and the Kali Gabgores in Yamsak and the Kali. Kali Gabgores and Kali Gabgores, Lam Yamli, Yapocha Gabgores, the Zawachimbochi Yamba Hakona Kali Gabroa, what is it? Kali Gabgores in Metasotani, Bejakando, like your Chazanish Savation on Churu. Lena Chola Chesero Penadola touching the Lachachi Lana. Tan is on the Chesinish Savjanala. Chorol Chesich Dola. Teaching the Lachayo Chorole Candro shows in the Kuchinish Savjatal. Chuni Yamukuni Lekale Jacares, Lachachemborata.
I think I did so, did the Lamgi, Simgi.
So the same get you Zawa Cheshire to Yansonsa.
So, because that, so how that we sort of really realize that the path is by sort of being extremely diligent on the path and working very hard and working day and night. And this is the way that we show devotion to the teacher. We're talking about the second line here, which is correct devotion to him as the root of the path. And so in this, right, it's how do we show devotion to him? It's by really putting great effort into the path.
Kuba chembo tember chingi lob ziti ta chelam jaatare ngi choja tien jani to ja yora ta kingel nga choja imba hotel tindel nga tani sonte soso go shani tien certa taran ta kishia na je ya pochi yon wa ke cho chelam na ro che zini ko chol chelam jaatare te chelam ja na je teni sonte soso go nyen ta pal shani tien certa ya pochi uchi che to gore tombolam gi sawa shani tien certa tere.
I'm sorry, so just a correction that he previously was talking about the second and third line. So correct devotion to him is the root of the path by clearing, seeing this, and applying great effort, which is where the great effort came in terms of applying great effort on this path to have these realizations. And so then the fourth line, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect, then is here we're asking for this blessing to properly rely upon the teacher who is the root of all of our good qualities.
Lasotani, ani batera launching epitality on the Shandanya Katonji Shikin in Yansak and the Nimbul, Gincha me procure chingi lob, the Asholo, and Nipat, Karaze or is it Tanjo Tonchewata, Nirkawaze at the Shiriori.
And so now we're moving on to the next set of 4 lines in the next verse, which reads, understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. And so here we're talking about the preciousness of this rebirth and how difficult it is to find a birth that we have.
Milike Kaporilla Kianga Mombo Chilinga so Miri Kialiante, Hajan Combo Chin Sonsa, the Lanching Yipitavites, Timachik some Tom Jones,
Timachik some Karikin,
Pay new doge, Petty, Neman is on the Pachi Timaching the Mato,
and so the first line here, understanding that this precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is really understanding that this kind of birth that we have is incredibly valuable, and maybe we only get it one time, right? That it's very, very rare to have this kind of birth with all of these conditions, and so it's really, really, really valuable, really precious.
Jorba zena chujapalan teke tsawi in Jorba zegore.
So we can talk about the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, which is sort of what defines the precious human birth that we're talking about here. And when we talk about the 8, what is a freedom and an endowment here? A freedom is really having time, having leisure, having the ability to practice the Dharma, practice the path. And endowments are having external conditions that allow us to practice the Dharma or practice the path.
Ani pena ngacho mandrichigla markini nyawal kiendi dena ngacho chujavya rakmaris. Tendrol kies mil markini nyawal kiendi na chujavya rakmari. Tendrol kiedi na chujavya rakmari. Yatagla kiedi na chujavya rakmaris.
So if, for example, if we were not born as a person, if we were born as a hell being in a hell realm, if we were born as an animal, or if we were born as a hungry ghost, of course, we would not have the ability to practice the Dharma.
Ani jabatal taqsamdachi ani jabatal hatserin boze ate tendrichi sherendu tal hayir chigle kesondi ngaya kesondi ngatalwa keson sambachi kogres tani tserin bo shuchi la nyekwa na chak kamacheni dedin las talantama talanga shison sambago nawaji shagris Kiwa tan shiwa ni tomato samle kyuni menjo tserin bo shuchi gores la tserin boze tatel kesona ya koro tsechik tel chujo ya korka kyuni yoma kare samle kyuni yoma nyekwa na sangen rauchi leta rauchi ta manro.
And so you could also be born as a long life god, and long life gods live incredibly long times. Long amount of times, and they're in these really deep states of concentration, and there's really in that existence there's also no ability or cause to practice the Dharma, because really they don't think about death right until the moment they're about to die.
Ani sangye choni mesa sangye choni mesa tani chili kesona na telinje kamare se tante sangye chuze atata yin tangkor wa ta yin tangkor tin no jaman du dik set sangye chu chu ni message ji so na chu che ma res
And so we're at this point now. We're on 2, 3, 4, the 5th of the 8 leisures, or the 5th of the 8. Yeah, I think the 5th of the 8 leisures, and so we had the 3 we had births as a hell being, hungry ghost, animal realm, long life God, and now we're talking about being born in a place where the Buddhist teachings have not arisen. And of course, if the Buddhist teachings have not arisen, there's no way to practice the Dharma.
so za ngar chol tanga shia chama changdo nya la ni kemen do yeta la ni kemen do tendo ni kemen do la che rambo la ni kemen do sangye chu so so che sa che ra sa tin ri ke wo so za te nga ta nga so chang sa so
And so then, therefore, we have these 5 complete because we weren't born as an animal, we weren't born as a hell being, we weren't born as a hungry ghost or a long life God, and we have been born in a place where the Buddhist teachings are alive, where the Buddha has taught and the Buddhist teachings are still around.
tawa lo pa zia tri tawa lo pa te dikshor tri sangye chu kanga ge cheni ma chama che ta te cho yo ma re zin ta te ngokor ta mi kya de share ngokor ta ta pen to kyoni yo ma re zin de ni ta ken so na kan de do za zo bo na la ma bo kar ko solo no de yo chi chena kor so ti no ni ya chi ma ke pa chi choni te ni ba za de te ingira te so lo ta chen ze ri lo ta chen de sangye chu je bi ko ka mo ko tel ga bo me a peti sem ta ni ko chen je lo sa ro ko te li gyam gar
And so also we could be born as someone who has very strong views against the Dharma, that very strongly believes that there is no such thing as past and future lives, very strongly disbelieves in karma, cause and effect, really has strong beliefs that go against the Dharma. And of course, if you're born in that way, you're not going to practice Dharma, you're not going to study the Dharma, and you will not have the conditions to study and practice the Dharmas. And so we are fortunate that we do not have that kind of birth as well.
Ani wambo ma chama kirtan wambo ma chama chanda wo chu re su te mu kam ton ra am chok mo ko anda wo ta te so diksho ra ta sem dal jar kyo na ta sem dal jar kyo kir I ki wambo ma chama nyom ba chanda wo tin chi na ta chu che ko ka kyo ni yo ma ra tin ji ta yang chi ti ore te na so cha yo ma ra.
We also can talk about not having been born with someone with inferior or incomplete faculties. So say if you can't see or you can't hear, right, it's very difficult to study and practice the Dharma. Or if you're just not very smart, right, then it becomes very difficult to practice the Dharma. So we all have not been born like that, so we have this ability to study and practice the Dharma.
Ta sem de lokka link zia de lokka insar lemba ta kupa ta pe semba nyomba ndo cho sem chu pon ndo cha chin ji ti chu ka sha zia de ko ka sang ka sang zakanal ko chigchi za ko narsi yenze ko nyomba me kana ta te ke ko sol karche gore karshena tapshi mandu ze te moni tapshi o mari ze sangye na le lenkul ke sa na tapshi o mari zo ta ndi cha nyomba do sem nyomba na ma ton to ombo ma sa sem nyomba cha sa na ta tapshi chi o mari.
And and again, you can be born to someone who's just really stupid, whose brain is defective. Say he saw somebody, I think, kinang di sakang ginanga de miji ki tong de.
Chasong ze kacha chasong. Kaso kini ti memba soba chiwa. Ichi ko nyomba na sa na narsi reza. Ki karche gona chiara kama. Tati ka porezi chamsen do chi ko so kyona mata ko so shena cha ko mariti.
And so I also saw somebody who could say was crazy or who just really had mental problems, and of course they're unable to practice the Dharma. And what are they going to do? They really have no ability to think and process and practice the Dharma. And so it's really a difficult situation.
Atini joba chetri tata so taki ke doshong ro chipa chipare tan joba chet malike gore yer wilike gore wombo chang gore yer wizi sangye chuyo sandre ro ani tepa yonji tanda lokta cha maimba linta ma lokpa zeyat tepa chi ta tombo jet ke chilap shte ya malike wa yer wilike wa wombo chang wa tepa yonke ti linta ma lokpa zeyat ne shi kan jamba ta lila ta
ti linta ma lokpa de. And so when we're looking at the endowments here, the 10 endowments, and the Migepa, the Gimagi Sachate la Gepa, Wombo Tsangwa, Lintama Lopa, the Chiteba, Teba Yopa. And so the 5, we can talk about the first 5 of the 10 endowments, where it's being born as a human, being born in a central land, which is essentially being born in a place where the Buddhist teachings exist. You have all of your faculties intact. You have not committed any of the 5 heinous deeds or the 5 deeds of immediate retribution, and you have faith in the Dharma.
단다 린타 말롱파 제야데 카르레오즈나 가초 참맹아 제야치고레 참맹아 칭 마칭 키치인 거레 참맹아 지나 카르지나 소소 파세야 마세야 또소 뚝파 슈제 참메제티카 쇼와다 샤르냐 냐완 로자나 마토 티파룰레 참치야 쿄니메 탁초파 틴딜레 참메 파세파 마세파 다촌바 세와 데르 샤피클라 나셈지 탁촌와제티 테네마 상제로 치크 도이나 직신이 탁촌인사로 언니 겐드 바로 yenchwa yenchuch 겐드 그 yenchuk세나 카르가 yen
디어 하가선데 가자리게 노게션
뭐 데나탈 참행아제 그래 근디 징케나 렘타 로파이 손사 탈리앙 탄조 그 체크인 상마리
And so I mentioned the 5 heinous deeds, and so what are these 5 heinous deeds? And these are killing one's father, killing one's mother, killing an arhat, maliciously causing a Buddha or a Tathagata to bleed, and causing dissension within the Sangha. And so if you've committed one of these 5 heinous acts, then it's very difficult to create, I think, to practice the Dharma effectively.
아디노 알몬보 직다 대산드시나 겐등가 옌다 당 파세파 마세파 든지 용스파라 잠바다 치용디마로 상제를 차파사타라 카마리다 점바체세야라 카마로티 파세파타 마세파타 겐등가 나올스틱 야와 든지 용스파리 잡잔로치
And for us, of these, killing one's mother, killing one's father, and causing dissension in the Sangha are sort of theoretically possible. It would be difficult for us really to have the opportunity to kill an arhat or to make a Tathagata bleed. But the other 3 are possible.
어떤이 도치리 뜻송아 솔 창대오리 파시 창대오리 람조가도
And so ngatsola di
파시 창요리 마리 타타 람조가도 ngatso 창대오리 삼로 당데 파친도아데 원은 창도 대반이 요리 세면에 자사요 마리 예르위지티 창게투 치투소요 다 예르위를 시에서니 요리 시에서 직대체나 때서 예르위트 콤보라고 치자 예르위를 시에서니도 시에서즈나 가시즈나 도제된 라오타단들이 상계의 주몽보 달사트니 되시신 단도와 나선 코르남지 기와제야 진동 코르남지 기와제나 대상 대즈 콤보요 코르남지 더 게론마다 게스타 게스르마 티브제카 요사가 사차치글음 대자코
디제게르 디
예르위지야
예르운바 디 기능게 이원바 체바데
예르위르케오나 튼지 요사치 고레세 오르타 튼지 요사 뇨뇨로와
so the doji din lama do the
doji din shini chigyore tate kapori jamban kornamji gewase ta sacha tal gelonda geloma ta geser ma to jete yosa sacha china yerwi res na chu ke charo derwi ta temesa kon
okay, and so the last one, the causing dissension in the Sangha, really you should have the 4 types of monastics, the two different levels of monks and nuns. Oh, we don't want to do that. Oh, sorry, I just did something weird on Zoom. And so other than perhaps Bodhgaya, where you have all of the different monks and nuns residing, perhaps we don't actually have a place to fulfill the actual technical requirement of this causing dissension within the Sangha, because that requires having, what would we say, fully ordained monks and nuns, and then I'm not sure what the term is. The novice monks and nuns, all 4 abiding in one place.
링더 체크인 로지 상견직 될 페비오 파체 아니 상견이 추송요 파체 데 론더 토피 담바 요 파체 론더 토피 담바 냠레 첸케야 요 파체 다테 체크인 로지 파쇼코 체크 잔조르제디 파쇼 예르크 체크 시용 거 사차가 체크인 로지
네네
베나 야간 로지나 상견 페비오라 디 추송 요로와 아니 디 론토코 템바디 요데라 이더니 텔 냠레 첸케야 요데로 또 제트치 타마토 더니 냠레 체왈지 판조타 더니 체크인 양 라데사 더니 지
And so now we can talk about 5 what we would call impersonal endowments, or the endowments that sort of maybe the conditions of the world around you that need to have. And those 5 are listed as the Buddha has come. The Buddha has come in our era. The Buddha is teaching or has taught the Dharma. The teachings remain and are undegenerated. that there are still followers of the Buddha, that people have this idea of caring for others, and that people are carrying acts of charity. That people are caring for others.
Tatinga Solitang Yores in Sanjin in the Chomba Zeati Guanishina, Sanji Tanda Yogua Tishin, the Tishina to Tayomar, Matsuka, Gobolo to Tabale and Samomar, and Gobolo to Theatre, Sanji Combazon, Logic Gas, Dendora, the Leat Sangiomar, Sanji Musurio Pishari with a monger, the truth, Sangi, Jeremongasola Sangioma. The Mayim Bachi Sanjin in the Chunima, Chusoni, Tito, Hayo beyond the China, young Maso at the Ansandi, or Tisha Samandra in the Chito.
So so there are sort of two different ways of thinking about the first one, which I translated as the Buddha has come, and some people say it actually should be the Buddha is currently there, which would not be true for us, but others think the Buddha has come and the teachings are still around. And so when we talk about this life that has the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, right? Of course, not everyone has these, right? Even people alive today, there are plenty of people that have lots of very strong wrong views, which then mean that they do not have the complete 8 leisures and 10 endowments.
And Zambulin the Sochan Jam Mandra Katechi or Ketani Mezia Hajam Mambori, don't you Dunchelachi or Reze or Moni Mambon or Red. Jamba Socha Chilitin Chiduriona, you Shure. Then a drum Zambulin the trauma and mini, then a Zambulin the trauma, Pachima, trauma, but trauma. Sometimes Mizia the Tenini Chimato, that's Sochan Jam Mandra Gundinon, Chik say on the Mazia Hajan Yonor. That Muganania and I catch you. Ramjo Marco Tarjo Katanset, Telignon. I get on in Maziati, Socha Jamba, the Solistic Tata, Namuli Mili Cheva Yori, Chonwa Yorin, Jam, and Ramili Patsawa Yori Zendo, Jam, Mandachi Yoretan, Namuli wanted to Misha, they were in Jamba Masonsa, me liftings at Hajan is Savachimori, they had Choyoni Shengo.
So we also can just think in terms of looking at the world around us, how many people are there compared to other beings? And if you look at the world, there's an incredibly large number of just living beings around here, and among those, very few are people. For example, if you just think about the small insects and bacteria and all these, there's billions and billions, many of these things, right? So compared to people, there are very, very few people. And then among those people, how many of them have these 8 freedoms and 10 endowments? Of course, that's even fewer. So really, just being born as a human is an incredible opportunity. Okay, so that really it's important just to remember and think about how precious this human birth is. And so that's now we're going to stop. We're open for some questions if anybody has questions. Let's see, do we have, I can't see the chat, anything in the chat? Yes, Amari. Do you guys have questions, anybody? Oh, yes.
How do we receive guidance in those 10 years in which we are
checking out your
checking for
guidance in what way? What do you mean?
Yeah, like guidance in our practice, in our paths.
Oh, while you're still waiting for your okay,
like
yeah, okay, sure, yeah, okay, now I get it. Yeah,
do you kind of
yeah, I get it.
Do you kind of provisionally have people that kind of are your gurus while you're checking?
Okay,
yeah. How do you manage that?
Kongi di Berna di Kongi di Lama di Loju gi ringa dakche che tu Kongkari galop nangi galop shigir Kongso di Loju gi ringa Lama yomare ini Loju gi ringa Lama te di oh Lama ngene yome hakoma song ini te tu Kongkari chigir kari nyam chigir di Kong chiwa yona kari dangi sti
Lama Martin Conley, Lama Martin Conley, could not you look on chatting good, Geshe Garish. Colobjon Cheki mean that you're watching do Mundu Tani, Korotepa Chego, do Mundu Tago, who shared that so the Kotama of John Chego. I get a gig and Najin Chichenike, Yen Dangera. And I look into a child at Tepa 대바담 쓴조고라.
또 되게 남친 얘네 갸게 테바 되기요 말이 디나신.
당 아선 라마지 그 쇼송고네 또 아지도 되고. 아케 간디신도 야고신도 만도에 삼 딜리타키 타키 되고.
기니 콩디낭친 데도 콩 치와이나 디 콩기 갈롭슈나 데 콩술라 슈기요레. 콩이스라 라마요 콩다 데도 디 라마요 말에.
베나 lama machare ma to miti salko lo byon che kanro chogre la lo byon che kanro di tang lo cheka chi ni chi salko lo byon che kanro na ko ya po chi yo ha ko ro pa shi lo chi sa ta ke che na ko lo byon ko sandro de o son de na so leon na lama che te yo mar tang e kar shi ndu cho so nyen ta ba ha ko de yo ra etendi che lo chi sa ta ke chi de nga me kan di chi ndu ha ko yo ra pa shi terebe
ngisama dire yini di chiwati 공 탄다 라마 요마레 얘네 디 공기 라마 데 닥체 체기레 디 로주 디 닥체 체기 투투 디 로주 고르기레 디 로주기 낭라 디 공기
코로 가르치기 오르제
공 가르치지
코로 나출 로교체 되고라
okay so basically you're spending this time checking out your lama and you're getting these teachings. You're just not giving him, he's not my lama. I'm not giving him 100% my faith, but you're practicing Buddhism. You know, you're getting teachings, you're studying, you're practicing Buddhism. Until that point when you've got this, you can say 100% that you've got this firm faith that he's your lama.
He's kind of your provisional in a sense, kind of, not really, but like.
Yeah, he didn't say that specifically, but he said you're just studying and practicing and listening and getting teachings during that time. It's not like you're not practicing Buddhism during that time. But
right.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like the first 10 years must be the most confusing kind of when you start, you don't really know what you're doing. So you I mean, you need advice from people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that in my practice a lot.
Yeah, of course. Okay. So.
But yeah, I think it's fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. Do online teachings? So there's an online question here. Do online teachings count as valid in the teacher-student relationship? What if the teacher is not available due to so many students? How do you approach it? That's a very topical problem these days with the internet. Yeah. They know it's a very real problem these days because so many people are teaching. So the 공기치와 그래서 나 the 타격이 기진타 the shuna the lama doctor chair the yapoyore
딱지 초코를 왜세요?
네 타격이 더네.
배나 공사 정도지 그 송중아 저 잘견이니요. 근데 송통도 좀 뱀세요 본도 단등을 땡데 펜토고 삼는 소라마 땡잖아요. 마토 페디 라마 튠튠이 메시지 세아라 가버래.
So the answer to that question is yes, of course, that you can take teachings online and get some understanding and some sense of the teacher and how well they understand the Dharma. Of course, maybe just online you're not going to be able to get 100% perfect sense of if that person is your lama or not. Lama kashe di lobchuk pengmang boyores. Tinjo di gerki ki tutsu sheja yomares. Kaptu ke chashe di gokap sheja yomares. Di kapsu di karuche giyores. Picture nga lama picture di charon bashi nangchi. Charon se kyuni joki chogi yomares. Di nangchi karuche giyores.
Tate sosogu tepa yona korkap ka se rarachu che. Te korkap marana tani yang teli jamba guchi korkap tani yosaga. Ta yang jamba yang tina lama mombo yo chora chirang ko jamba korkap tini yo sa yang tili te ti so yo sa tini so so tina yang na concert choko nam ji shegori yinchi menchi lama ambo ni ko go mari sanga chondra china tan tini yama ka je shegora chucho rang gan de shi chini kyo so ngali chucho ya sa me ya kyo so chucho ya sa ni tini lo pyon china ya ji do rezi ni so ndo
can the lama di picture lama shimba di lobchu Nangmo lama shima di
yaru chendo uchi ngaso tepa yore ngoni ni lama re de ngaso kunyam de kadina lobjon chia ko kabra kamaro ta jamba tindi lobjon chia ko kabra na dikreze lama jamba kasa lama jamba mazi na yar jamba chinyam de lobjon che de na yan dikreze pro lama yaru bo chirang jani jamba nyam da ngaso chuto konde shi jani lobjon che na yan
So, for example, we could talk about His Holiness, if you have His Holiness, or someone has His Holiness as their Lama. Of course, most of us are never going to get a chance to have a long personal interaction, questions with His Holiness. So you can have another Lama that you will have more of an opportunity to talk to, or you can have just other teachers that you're studying and practicing with. Does that answer your question, Anna? Yes, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
So my question is actually similar to this.
Mm.
And I want to know the definition about like Lama and student relationship. Right? I see His Holiness as my Lama. Even I cannot ask him question. I did. I asked him one time. But I think that's not talking about the relationship between student and Lama. It's kind of like this. We can face to face and ask questions. So his definition about my Lama is like I have to find someone who can instruct me face to face. Is that?
So kongichiwa di lama tang di lopma di dewa ngune kariyere. Kangisara kongichiwa di lama gi tsani. Nge di lama di gandhi shu tukiyore yang di lama tingala di lin gyakiyore kaptuk. Di nang shinyore bes di mena di lama ngune yore. Yomare. So the Gyawa Rinpoche, the Kong di Gyawa Rinpoche, Kongi Lama di Tsigiyore. Yine Kong Mang di Chidang, Kong Gyawa Rinpoche Chiwa Dang Gogab Yomare. The
Lama Chakayore Vezere.
Lama Chakayore.
Lama Chakayore. So Lama Chetki Yapo Tande or so Yal Tepa Chess one Pachi Lama Chandros. So Tepa Lama and Java Chess one Musatan, some Salum Musson Karensan, Tato Jakarensan, Gia Kamari, the Lama the Chakayore. So Tepa Chess on, so Tepa Machin and Lama Mari.
So if you have faith in the person, if you really have deep faith, then they are your Lama. Whether you're able to get direct questions or teachings or anything like that, really what makes them your Lama is the faith in them. And if you don't have faith, they're not your Lama.
So Telia Lama Yansani Tepa Chetini Zonte, Lama di Machu Six Chepatan, the Sholoka Chixon, and Zonte Kush Lama Chandro Lavor. Tepa Loma Lama Tepa Minach Mombojidena, Konila Chakayoma. Tepa Yoni Zonte Tijini.
So if we don't have faith and know how much, no matter how much someone teaches us, they'll never become our Lama. But if we really have faith in someone and they say one verse to us, that can make them our Lama.
Kerang Lama Shenra, Culture Lama Gergen Gangina Choka Yang Cho Lama Sena Yinda Minda Lama get Tsen Gogumo, Geshe, Rinpoche, Kempo, and so Lamadan Draga, young Lama Mare said, Gergen in Marto.
Taki Shian Karakoson, what
sort of what makes someone a Lama, is just what you're asking, as opposed to like a Rinpoche or a
when you say you need a Lama. If that's somebody whose title is Rinpoche, but not actually Lama. Can they work as Lama, or do they actually need to have the
title? The title.
Okay. They actually have to have rank of Lama, or is?
And then the Kavlu Shepi Lama Zeteata, Tanabi Gushita Rambochita, Kembo Zeat, there's a Chuluko Rambochita, Pena Gushi Zeachi, and a Lobo Minch. Lama Chi in a Kiwangapshini Magi on each. Kiwangama Yansi by Chen Rambochila. Ane Kembo Zeata, so the Musi, Tagilipina Kembo in a Gombati, Corsage Committee. The soil Sakandil Shepa Lama Zeata, Tenjivicha go Kangua Mare. Ko Tachishia Naji catch you up for Sansachi only Loma Korogo Tepachini Lama Tensana, Conila Locundra Chasawa, and Jimmy Guachi or Mare.
You them in the Lama.
The Tanda Tenjigo Maris, Gushinra, Yango Marum Cambo, Yango Mare, Shirki Yango Martandi, Yango Machitawatera.
Lama mixa ki go pang yoman. It's like the lama ki kanang sa mi su lama lap ki su lama di ning tak kiris.
Ale lama se atenti topang chenki.
Me sixena Geshe Lharampa Rangrig Dorjee. Sixena choka question na cho. Lama gachani lama ti okacho.
Oh tereri. Etamre ma tojen kol top tandra korsan chi kan yo gomar.
Tibetan lama se na gergen chirtang gergen sere. Gergen gopang yo no gorum yo no. Yena yang lama tak mangti ko jumare.
Tanda nabjeng chulukan go shapi lami ma go echo.
So, just to summarize what that discussion was about, this question was about some of these other titles like Geshe, Khenpo, Rinpoche, and Lama, and sort of how they're related. And so, Geshe, of course, is a specific title that you gain from studying. Rinpoche is a title that's given when you're recognized as a tulku, as someone who's taken rebirth in this lineage. Khenpo is a particular title in the Gaelic tradition, and of course in the title of someone who studied in these other traditions. Lama is not a title in that way. It's not a title that's given in that way. And so we're sort of discussing who gives the title Lama or that, and it sounds like it's really just if you have faith, if you do that makes that person your Lama. There's not like a sort of being given the title.
Trapaya chingo mar pena chisamela lama lotama ba trapa mare. Loma chisamela koraya trapa mare sendo.
So you also don't have to be a monk or a monastic, right? Because Milarepa and Marpa were not monastics.
What in the city?
Okay, let's stop now. It's gone on for a while.
Thank
you, everybody. Thank you, guys.
Chima Jeong.
But it was great people, us, taking 10 years.